I wasn't looking through his phone on purpose. I was sitting on the couch when his phone lit up beside me. He had just gone to take a shower and forgot to lock it. A message popped up from a group chat called Freedom After Divorce. That name alone made my heart sink. I tapped on it. What I read made my hands shake, but not from sadness. From something else. Calm. Cold. It was my husband, his sister, and a few of his friends. They were joking about how he was finally going to be free. Free from me. One message said, "Can't wait till he's rid of that useless wife." Another one, "She won't even see it coming." His sister sent laughing emojis and said, "Took him long enough." I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't go into the bathroom to confront him. I just stood up, walked to my home office, and opened my laptop. If they thought I was going to let this slide, they were all fools. I may have been quiet these past years, but that didn't mean I was weak. He forgot who he married. I used to work in finance before I quit to support his small business. I helped him with bills, built his website, did his taxes, even managed his calendar. I had access to everything. Passwords, bank accounts, contracts. And now I had something better, motivation. That night, I didn't say anything. I cooked dinner like usual, smiled like always. He sat across from me, talking about some client call. I nodded, pretending to listen. But in my head, I was already moving money, canceling auto payments, downloading files, and preparing documents. I didn't sleep. I planned. In the next few days, I made quiet moves, transferred money to my personal account, spoke with a lawyer I trusted, collected proof, screenshots, financial records, the group chat messages. All of it went into a neat little folder titled Exit. He noticed something was off when his business credit card got declined. He texted me asking if the bank was down. I said I'd check. I didn't. I let him wonder. 1 week later, he came home to find the house half empty. I had taken my things while he was at work. On the kitchen table, I left a copy of the group chat, a printed bank statement, and a letter from my lawyer. No big scene. No loud goodbye. Just the facts. Later that night, he called me 15 times. Then his sister texted, "You didn't have to go nuclear." I replied with just one sentence. "You started it." I wasn't useless. I was patient. They just didn't see it until it was too late. 5 years ago, I had a good job. I worked in marketing and made great money. I had my own apartment, my own car, and I was proud of what I had built. Then I met him. He had big dreams, no steady job, and a lot of charm. He told me he wanted to start his own business. He said he just needed time and support. I believed in him. I believed in us. So I left my job. I moved in with him. I started helping him with everything, his business plan, his website, his social media. I used my savings to pay the rent. I took care of the bills, the cooking, the cleaning, his laundry, his meetings, his late-night ideas. I was there for all of it. I even helped deal with his mother, who never liked me and always made comments about how I wasn't good enough for her son. Even when I felt tired, I smiled. At investor dinners, I sat beside him and nodded at every word he said. I made the house feel warm. I made him look good. I stopped going out with my friends. I lost touch with people from my old job. Every time I thought about applying for work again, he said, "Not yet, just wait a little longer. Once this business takes off, we'll both be fine." I waited and waited. He changed over time. He stopped saying thank you. He acted like everything I did was just expected. He walked into the house and dropped his bag, and I'd pick it up. I asked about our future, and he'd say, "Can't you see I'm building something?" I thought maybe he was stressed. I thought maybe things would get better once the business grew. I made excuses for him, even when I knew better. One day, while cleaning the house, I picked up his phone to move it off the counter. A message lit up. It was from a woman. The name looked familiar. I opened the chat and saw everything. He had been talking to his ex for months, calling her beautiful, sending her old photos of them, saying he missed her, telling her I didn't understand him. I sat on the couch, holding the phone, feeling nothing at first. No tears, no yelling, just quiet. I looked around the house. I saw the clean floors, the folded laundry, the bills I had paid. I thought about the years I gave up. I thought about who I used to be before him. I didn't say anything that day. I kept quiet, but something inside me had changed. That night, while he talked about some new client, I just nodded. I smiled, but inside I was making a plan. He didn't know it, but he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. I wasn't going to stay. Not after everything I had given. Not after how he treated me. I wasn't angry. I was done. And this time I was going to put myself first. Before we got married, he told me he wanted a prenup. He said it was just a smart thing to do, nothing personal. I said fine, but I wanted my own lawyer to look at it too. He agreed without thinking much of it. He thought I would just sign whatever he gave me. But I'm not that kind of person. I wanted to protect myself too. So I sat down with my lawyer and read every line. I asked questions. I added my own terms. One of them said that if he ever cheated, I would get 70% of everything we owned together. He didn't even blink when he signed it. He laughed and said, "You have nothing to worry about." At the time, I believed him. I really did. The first year of marriage felt okay. We were both busy with work. We had dinners together, watched shows on the couch, went to weddings and birthdays. But slowly, something felt off. He became distant. He would work late, but never bring home much. He started guarding his phone like it held secret. And one night, it buzzed while he was asleep. I glanced over. The message preview showed a heart emoji and said, "Last night was amazing." I didn't touch his phone. I just stared at that message. I waited until the next day, then started watching closely. I paid attention to when he left, where he said he was going, how long he was gone. I checked old receipts. I checked our bank account. I started collecting everything. Every dinner charge, every hotel stay, every ride share that didn't match his story. I didn't tell him I knew. I just made sure I had the proof. Screenshots, receipts, even one selfie he took in a bathroom that wasn't ours. It all went into a folder on a flash drive I kept hidden. I also made copies of the prenup, just in case he lost it somehow. My lawyer still had the original. Once I had everything, I sat him down. No drama, just the facts. I told him I knew what he had been doing. He tried to deny it. Then he tried to say it was a mistake. Then he got angry. That's when I slid the papers across the table. He looked at the prenup, then back at me. "You're not serious," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The agreement was clear. If he cheated, I would get 70%. The house, the savings, the car. Most of it would be mine. He signed it thinking it was just words. He never thought I'd use it. He started pacing, mumbling to himself. I stood up and walked out. I already had a place lined up. I already had a plan. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't throw things. I didn't need to. He wanted a prenup to protect himself. He didn't think I'd be the one needing protection. He thought I'd never catch on. But I did. And now he's paying for it. Literally. We had been married for almost 10 years. He said he wanted to plan something special. A vow renewal. He called it a fresh start, a way to honor everything we had been through. He said I deserved it. A big event, beautiful dress, guests from out of town. I didn't ask for any of it. It was all his idea. But I smiled and said yes. We picked the venue together. He tasted the food and helped choose the flowers. He even cried when we found the same song from our first dance. He told everyone how lucky he was to have a loyal wife. I believed him. At least I wanted to. But then, one day, I was doing laundry and found a small receipt in his jeans pocket. It was from a store I didn't know. The item was lingerie. I didn't think too much at first. Maybe it was a surprise for me. Maybe he was trying to be romantic. But my name wasn't on the receipt. The order was under someone named Cleo Poprince. That name alone made my stomach twist. I waited until he left for work, then opened his laptop. I didn't need any passwords. He never changed them. I found messages, flirty, bold, with pictures I didn't want to see. He wasn't just talking to Cleo. He was planning weekends with her. He sent her photos of the venue, saying how funny it was that his wife thought it was for her. I stared at the screen, cold and still. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just knew what I had to do. I didn't tell him I knew. I didn't even act different. I just started making calls. First the hotel, then the florist, then the catering company. Everyone was kind and understanding when I said plans had changed. Most gave full refunds. Some charged small fees. I didn't mind. Every refund went straight to my personal account. The one he didn't know about. The dress I had picked out? I returned it. The invitations? Never sent. The honeymoon flights? Cancelled. Bit by bit, everything was undone. And he didn't notice a thing. He was too busy texting Cleo and pretending to be the perfect husband in public. A week before the event, he told his family to get ready. He reminded his friends to RSVP. I just nodded. He even handed me a note to read during the ceremony. I kept it. It was full of fake promises. On the day it was supposed to happen, guests started calling. The venue was closed. No one was there. He was confused. He looked at me like I was the one who messed up. I handed him the receipt from Cleo, the canceled contracts, and a copy of the refund bank statement. I didn't say anything. He opened the folder, and his face went pale. His phone started ringing. His mother, his friends, his coworkers asking what happened. I left the room, packed my bag, and walked out. He tried to stop me, but I kept going. He said the vow renewal was to celebrate his loyal wife. But he forgot one thing. Loyalty goes both ways. And he broke his. So I took back my time, my money, and my peace. Let him explain that to everyone. I'm done explaining anything. I used to handle everything in the house. Bills, groceries, rent, passwords. You name it, I managed it. He liked it that way. He didn't care about the details as long as the lights stayed on and his coffee machine worked. I kept track of every payment, every login, every bank account. I never complained. I thought we were a team. But I was wrong. He changed. He stopped talking to me unless he needed something. He started going out more, staying out late, and acting like I was invisible. I knew something was going on, but he never said anything. I stopped asking. I just watched. Quietly. One day, I noticed an extra charge on our bank account. It was a subscription to a dating app. Then a week later, he added a second Spotify account under a different name. I checked the profile picture. It wasn't mine. I recognized the girl. She worked at his gym. She used to say hi to me when I picked him up. That's when I decided I was done. Not just done emotionally, but done handling his life for him. He thought I would stay, cook, clean, pay bills, and smile through it. He didn't expect me to take action. But I had a plan. First, I opened a new account in my name only. I moved my paycheck and what was left of my savings. I changed the passwords to everything I owned. Then I started working down the list. I emptied the joint account except for a little gas money. I left just enough so he wouldn't notice right away. I didn't want drama. I just wanted out. I canceled the credit cards we shared. I called the companies and froze the accounts. No warning, no explanation. Next were the utilities. The internet? Gone. Electricity? Canceled in my name. He had to open new accounts himself, which meant credit checks, deposits, and long wait time. The gym membership he used every morning? Canceled. It was in my name. So was the streaming service he used with his new girl. Both gone with one click. I didn't leave a note. I didn't tell him where I was going. I just packed a bag, turned off my phone, and left. He texted later, asking why the lights were off and why the card didn't work at the gas station. I didn't answer. He tried calling. Then he emailed. I ignored it all. He didn't even realize how much I held together until it all stopped working. He never thanked me when things were fine. He never noticed the time and energy I gave every day. But he noticed when it all went missing. He called his mom. He called his friends. He said I disappeared. But I didn't disappear. I just stopped fixing everything for him. I stopped carrying the load for someone who gave nothing back. Let him figure out the bills. Let him deal with the missed payments. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I just removed myself and left him with exactly what he gave me. Nothing. He thought he was clever. He thought no one would notice the little lies. He said he had to travel for work often. Long trips, late nights, client meetings in other cities. I believed him at first. I trusted him. But over time, things didn't add up. He'd come back with no new deals, no notes, no updates. Just tired eyes and excuses. I started watching more closely. He never cleaned up his mess. Receipts fell out of his bag. One had an Airbnb address I didn't recognize. Another was for a spa, marked under a woman's name. He said it was a gift for a client, but he forgot to hide the rest. I found more bookings under fake names, all linked to his email. One receipt had 2 guests listed. It wasn't for business. It was personal. He worked for a big company. They had clear rules. Travel costs were covered, but only for actual work. They were strict about money and honesty. I remembered that from his onboarding packet. I even helped him read it when he first got hired. So I knew what I was looking at. He wasn't just cheating on me. He was cheating his job too. I sat down at my desk one morning with all the proof spread out. I opened my laptop and started a new email. I wasn't angry. I was calm. I wrote clearly, politely. I said I believed they had a right to know how their company funds were being used. I attached the documents. Hotel receipts, spa bills, dinner charges, plane tickets, all under his name or one of his fake ones. I didn't rant. I didn't insult him. I just sent facts. I copied his company's HR and the CFO, the 2 names I had seen on their website. Then I hit send. I didn't expect a reply, and I didn't need one. I just wanted the truth to land where it mattered. I closed my laptop, made some tea, and waited. A few days later, he came home early. His face was pale. He looked like he hadn't slept. He asked if I had sent anything to his job. I just looked at him and said, "Check your email." He stared at me like he couldn't believe I would actually do it. But I did. He started to panic, said I had ruined his life, that I didn't need to go that far. I didn't argue. I let him talk. He knew what he did. He knew what the company would do. They don't like liars, especially ones who use company money to book hotel rooms for their side relationships. I packed a bag and left that night. I didn't shout. I didn't wait for him to explain. He could explain to his job instead. He thought I would stay quiet forever, that I would keep looking the other way. But I've spent years writing emails for work, solving problems, and handling clients. This time, I used that same skill for myself. He chose to lie. I chose to hit send. He thought I didn't know. He thought he was being smart, hiding messages, making late-night calls in the garage, changing password. But I had known for a while. I saw how he looked at his phone, smiling when he thought I wasn't watching. I noticed how he became distant, how his stories changed each time I asked questions. I stayed quiet. I didn't fight. I just listened, watched, and waited. I started collecting proof. I saved messages, copied files, and took pictures of receipts. I tracked spending and wrote everything down. I met with a lawyer and made a plan. I wanted to leave, but I didn't want chaos. I wanted a clean exit. One night, I told him I wanted to cook dinner, just us. I said we needed one final evening together, something peaceful before life changed. He looked surprised, then pleased. He said that sounded like a good idea. He probably thought I was giving him a quiet goodbye, like I was still in the dark. That night, I set the table. I lit candles and played soft music. I opened a bottle of wine and served his favorite meal. He walked in, smiled, and sat down. He acted like he had won something. He didn't know the truth was already sitting on the table, waiting for him. After we ate, I told him I had something for him. I walked over to the drawer and pulled out a binder. I placed it in front of him. On the front, in bold letters, I had written, Divorce D-Day. He laughed at first. Then he opened it. Page after page, he saw everything: bank statements, screenshots of texts, hotel bookings, phone records. At the end was my lawyer's card, paper-clipped to the final page. He didn't speak for a long time. His face changed slowly. His eyes stopped moving. He realized I had known everything, and I had done something about it. He started to say something, but I raised my glass and said, To your freedom. Then I stood up, grabbed my bag, and walked out the door. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I didn't ask him why. I already knew. I just wanted to make sure he saw it all clearly. He had made his choices, and now I had made mine. The car was already packed. I had my keys, my papers, my peace of mind. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. He had his moment, and now I had mine. He thought the dinner was about him. He thought the goodbye was soft and simple. But it was my way of saying I'm done, and this time for real. He'll remember that night for a long time. The quiet music, the warm food, and the folder that changed everything. I gave him one last evening, not as his wife, but as the woman who finally let go. I moved out while he was at work. I didn't leave a note or a message. I packed only the things that were mine: my clothes, my laptop, my books, my files. Everything else I left behind. I didn't take anything that would start an argument later. I wasn't looking to fight. I just wanted to go. The apartment I rented was small but clean. One bedroom, a little kitchen, and a window that faced the street. I signed the lease 2 weeks earlier, paid in full from my personal account. I didn't tell anyone, not even close friends. I wanted to be alone. I needed space. The day I left, I turned off my phone. I didn't want to answer questions or hear his voice. I unpacked slowly, put dishes away, folded clothes into drawers. I made tea and sat on the floor, looking around the quiet space. It wasn't much, but it felt safe. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. His name filled the screen. Missed calls, texts, voicemails. Some angry, some confused. He asked where I was. He asked what I had done. I didn't respond. He didn't ask why I left. He didn't say sorry. He only asked about himself. That afternoon, someone knocked at the door. I already knew who it was. I looked through the peephole. He was standing there, alone. His shirt was wrinkled. His face looked different, tired, maybe worried. I opened the door just a little, just enough to see him, but not enough to invite him in. He asked, "Can we talk?" I didn't say anything. Then he said it. "Where's all the money?" That was the first thing out of his mouth. Not about the years we spent together. Not about the fact that I was gone. Just the money. I looked at him and said, "Ask your group chat." He blinked, like he didn't understand. Maybe he forgot how he laughed with his friends about leaving me. Maybe he thought I'd never find out. Or maybe he just didn't think I'd ever walk away. He said my name like it would change something. Like I would suddenly forgive him or explain everything. I didn't. I closed the door without another word. I didn't slam it. I didn't raise my voice. I just ended it. Then I walked back inside and turned on music. Not to hide anything, just to fill the quiet. I made something to eat, sat at the table, and took a breath. He stood outside for a few more minutes, but I didn't open the door again. He thought I'd always be there. He thought I'd never leave. But I did. And I didn't look back. His sister and I were never close. She was polite in front of others, but behind my back, she made little comments. She once said I was too quiet, and that I didn't speak up enough. At family dinners, she talked over me. At first, I thought she just had a strong personality. But later, I saw it was something else. She didn't respect me. She always supported her brother, no matter what. Even when he was clearly wrong, she took his side. She said things like, "He's just stressed," or "You take things too seriously." I stayed calm. I never fought with her. I thought it was better to stay peaceful. One day, I saw a message pop up on his phone. It was from a group chat. I wasn't trying to read it, but the message preview showed part of the name. It said freedom after divorce. That's what made me look closer. I opened the chat. It was my husband, his sister, and 2 of his friends. They were joking about me, laughing, saying he would finally be free. His sister was the one who named the group. She was the first to joke about me being too soft. She sent a message saying I would probably just cry and give up. I kept reading. It was all there. Everything they thought of me. Everything they planned. They didn't know I had already seen a lawyer. They didn't know I had moved half the money into a secure account. They didn't know I had proof of what he had been doing. Screenshots, receipts, and phone records, all organized and ready. I didn't say anything that night. I acted normal. I waited until everything was in place. Then, just a few days later, I filed the papers. Quietly. I didn't make a scene. I didn't tell him in front of others. I handed him the envelope while he was on the couch. He looked confused, then angry. But I didn't explain. I had already done everything I needed to do. A few hours after I left the house, I got a message from his sister. At first, I thought she'd say something cruel. But instead, it was short. She wrote, "Damn. Remind me never to cross you." That was it. I stared at that message for a minute. She thought I would break. She thought I was weak. But I wasn't. I had just been patient. I had waited and watched. And when the time was right, I did what needed to be done. She underestimated me. They all did. They thought quiet meant powerless. They thought polite meant afraid. But now they were the ones shocked by the outcome. I didn't respond to her message. There was nothing left to say. I moved into a new place, started fresh, changed my number. I left the past behind, including people like her. I never raised my voice. I never tried to get revenge. I just protected myself. That was enough. They thought I'd stay silent forever. But I didn't. And now they know. He used to call me useless during arguments. He said I didn't do enough. He acted like I was lucky to have him. He walked around like he was the one holding everything together. But the truth was, I kept the house running. I paid the bills on time. I cleaned, I cooked, and I kept his life in order. He didn't notice because I never made a big deal about it. I didn't argue with him. I didn't try to prove myself. I just kept doing what needed to be done. He thought my silence meant weakness. But I was watching. I was learning. I saw how he talked to other women. I saw how he stopped treating me like a partner. I didn't need anyone to tell me he didn't respect me anymore. I didn't react. I didn't start a fight. I started preparing. Quietly. I checked our bank accounts. I looked over the paperwork I had saved. I called a lawyer. I opened my own account. I began to build my exit, step by step. No one knew, not even close friends. I didn't talk. I worked. Every time he spoke down to me, I stayed calm. Every time he left the house without saying where he was going, I added another piece to my plan. I waited. Not because I was scared, but because I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to rush. I wanted to leave on my own terms. When the time was right, I moved everything I needed into my own name. I took back the money I had earned. I packed my things, left the key on the table, and walked out. No screaming, no drama. Just a quiet exit from a loud mess. He didn't see it coming. He called, then messaged, then called again. He asked why. He asked how. He said he was shocked. But I wasn't. I had seen this moment long before he did. I found a new place. I started a new job. I bought new clothes that made me feel strong again. I stood straighter. I spoke louder. I remembered who I was before I let him wear me down. People ask how I stayed so calm. The answer is simple. I was never useless. I was just patient. He lost more than money. He lost someone who did everything without asking for credit. He lost the person who held his life together. Now he's alone, and I'm building something better. I didn't need revenge. I needed peace. And now I have it. Believe in quiet strength and rising when life tries to break you. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. True power doesn't shout. It moves in silence, just like she did. Comment your thoughts and follow for more real stories that inspire and empower.